Hello. Well, I could say this is day one of my 14-day water fast, which is another way of looking at it. But in actual fact, it's day 15 of my 28-day fast. So, if I make 28 days, yeah, I've had feedback a few times now. I had another one yesterday regarding potassium and how dangerous it is if you get potassium deficient while you're doing the water fast, because just putting water through your body tends to wash out any potassium you may have in there, and it's obviously you don't want to become potassium deficient, because it can cause so many really nasty symptoms, including things like heart palpitations, or worse than that, sort of irregular heartbeats and potential death. So, excuse me. That's quite a worry, But for 99% of the people who do water fasts of sort of 20, 30 days, they don't have any issues on it at all. And because I think I've gone into it, again, I'll reiterate what I've said before, is I've gone into it from a very, very clean place. Eating totally vegan for 14 months, mainly raw for that time. Just towards the end of probably for the last 3 months, I did introduce sort of rice and potatoes, totally fat-free, whole grain rice, sweet potatoes, and occasionally white potatoes, with a few beans, but just boiled up, nothing else other than the potatoes might have been microwaved, and there was nothing else at all. So, I feel that I've come on, and before, one of the main parts of my diet was bananas. I was really eating a lot of bananas, right up until the point that I started this. Nearly every day, my day would consist of at least 2 smoothies containing quite a few bananas, because I'm hooked on them. If I can get them ripe enough, I love them. And that could be anything between 8 and, well, depending on the size, it makes such a difference. So, I mean, it's a bit of a ridiculous statement when you talk about bananas, because one big banana can be the equivalent quite easily of 3 or 4 smaller ones. So, talking about sort of medium-sized, average, whatever that is, I suppose I was eating 20 bananas a day, plus all the other fruit, which gives you a great potassium start. So hopefully that will, tide me over during these days. But it does make you a bit worried, especially as one of the, excuse me, I've got an itchy eye, especially as one of the sort of things that goes on this is like heart. I don't know anybody else has done this, and well, I do know they sorry, this is a bit garbled, but I do know other people have done water fasts and have reported having this sort of thumping heart all the time, and I could tell by my heart rates that it's gone up enormously. And then when you start to read these things about potassium, and oh god, is it regular heartbeat or is it irregular? And I've always had that, I've always had a bit of a heart murmur as well, which is diagnosed when I was young. But that's not necessarily anything to be worried about, because as the doctors always told me at that time, that it was something that was quite common among top athletes. Not that I've ever been an athlete or anything, but it always thought, okay, well, that's all right then. So, yeah, I feel really excited today. I'm in a good place, in a good mood. I'm still in my PJs actually, and I've just been having a bounce. Just a small. Yeah, I couldn't do long. Normally I do about half an hour, 45 minutes when I'm doing sort of just like a bit of a workout on there. And I think I managed about 6 minutes before I was actually going, it was really too much. But, and I'm going out this afternoon. I'm going to Truro, which is a lovely city in Cornwall. And then this evening I have a group that I'm committed to, and not in a nasty way, it's a group I want to go to. And I get a lot of feedback there as well, so that's useful. Not necessarily about my eating habits or lack of eating habits, but just it's good feedback. So, and at the halfway mark, I was just trying to work that out actually. How much? What's my weight thing? Well, it's way over 20 pounds. I've lost like, hang on a sec, 14, 21, yeah, about 23, 24 pounds, 23, 24 pounds in 14 days. You know, that's 2 weeks. 24 pounds. That's a lot of weight. You know, that's not far off from in UK measurements of 2 stone. You know. And I'll probably achieve that in a few days. That's not my motive, although I do want to lose weight, and I can already feel it. If I had the energy, I'd notice it, but I can already feel it on knees. Knees aren't so stressed, hips aren't so stressed, you know, just with general walking around. That's a lot of weight not to be carrying, you know. But the most important thing is the afterwards, after feeding, you know. So many people go into to do something like this as a way of fast weight loss, you know, fast world we live in, fast weight loss, whatever. And they don't take it, they don't see it through, they don't change their habits. And unfortunately, because your metabolism will slow down when you're doing a fast, quite considerably, the weight will just pile back on unless you know, follow a new lifestyle. Now I'm very, very lucky because I'm already living that lifestyle, but I do eat too much, and I've spoken about that before, you know, the compulsive eating. So very important to take it a bit easier to start with, you know. Otherwise it will, you know, that'd be a shame. I've worked hard to get to where it is, you know. I've worked for, you know, this water fast is basically just part of the work I've been doing for the last 14 months to try and get myself fitter, you know. So I don't want to wreck it. I'm not going to wreck it, you know, even though the cravings might be absolutely horrendous once I start to refeed. You know, at the moment I can just see, oh, where was I? I was just somewhere the other day when they were doing, was it maybe even yesterday, somebody was like pulling off lettuce leaves, and I've never seen a lettuce leaf look so absolutely delicious in my life. You know, it looks so scrumptious. And if this water fast and if this type of thing tied in with Doug Graham's 80-10-10 lifestyle, you know, if I could possibly get that, and you know, much as I love, you know, the idea of being able to eat unlimited carbs, stick more to Doug Graham and his plan, you know, and he does talk a bit about the amount of calories he eats. You know, he does say that, you know, it doesn't really make much difference what you eat. You know, calories are calories. You can probably eat more. It's, you know, you can sort of eat unlimited, but at the end of the day, if you're putting on weight, then you need to cut back a little bit. And you know, I just saw it as a complete carte blanche for being able to I don't know, alienate. What's alienate? Sorry, I don't know. That's the fast. That's what it does to you. But basically, to just take away all the feelings by just eating. You know, like I've done all my life. All the pain that's buried. All the pain that's buried from childhood. It's all there, and all my life I've dealt with it by munch or glug or smoke or something like that. You know, every single thing, or drug. Well, I don't like to put alcohol in any, you know, alcohol and heroin to me is identical, except alcohol's probably worse. So I just like to say drugs, although people like to say alcoholism. You know, why put a word on alcohol? Alcoholism, you know, it's odd, isn't it? It's just being, you know, alcohol is an addictive substance, the same as lots of other drugs, and as long as you're using it, it's going to pull you back into it to use more. And you know, generally, it's not the drug itself that is the problem. It's what behind that drug, what got you into it. And once you're hooked into it, and of course the drug does become the problem, because you don't want to go through the detox of it every day, so you've got to have more every single day. As I said yesterday, smoking, the thing about smoking is that as soon as you put that cigarette out, the detox starts to come in, and that detox makes you feel absolute crap. And the only way that you can get a quick relief from that is by relighting another cigarette, and it carries on like that, one after the other, and it will just keep you hooked in forever if you let it, or until some horrific sort of disease from inhaling all that, all those noxious, poisonous fumes for all those years. And I'm not speaking as any sort of somebody who's trying to be judgmental or anything, because for a lot of, I've only kicked the habit 4.5 years ago. No, sorry, I don't call it a habit. It's not a habit, it's an addiction. I managed to confront my addiction 4.5 years ago. The pain was enormous. It was like losing an old friend, and there it went. So this is another garbled production from the Green Juice Man. Very garbled, all over the place. That's a bit where my head is, But things are becoming much clearer about what we want to do in our future, and I think that we don't want to stay in this particular location that we're at the moment. We want to move away closer to things which are important to us, and one of the most important things in my life is cycling, and having access to that on relatively safe roads and safe places to cycle. And I don't think where we're living at the moment is particularly safe. It's little crowded lanes with traffic, just with people. It's not the traffic, it's the people inside those tin boxes that are driving along as if they're not ever expecting to see anybody else on the road, and they always sort of react in an odd way. When they see cyclists, they think, why are those people on the road? They've got no right to be on the road, they're not paying to be on the road. It's an odd old thing, because probably 99.9% of people who cycle around do pay to have, I don't know, cars or bikes or whatever. I've got all of them. I've got cars and motorcycles, and I'm paying for those all the time. So if I choose to go on a bike, I'm just a car that's not on the road. And I would have thought a bicycle on the road, people would be quite pleased to see a bike on the road and think, yeah, but it's not like that, because you might hold people up by a microsecond or a nanosecond, and oh God, I can't cope with this, oh bloody, so I've got to get past, and I need to get to work at 3, I've left it 5 minutes too late, and I'm now going to make it up by streaming along the road, running animals over, anything that's in my way, bang, just get out. The roadkill around Cornwall is atrocious, like it is in most places, but that's often it's avoidable. We don't have to run over our fellow creatures if we're just a little bit more. And I know a lot of the time it is inevitable when something just runs across the road in front of you, but if you're doing 70, 80 miles an hour in a lane that's about 30 miles an hour, and a pheasant walks out, you actually do have a chance of being able to slow down, let the thing get out of the way, and actually have a bit of life, which it's entitled to as much as human beings. Animals have exactly the same amount of right as any of us have to be on this earth. They're no less of a creature than we are. We're all equal as far as I see. Just because we exploit things with our larger brain doesn't give us the right to kill needlessly. Anyway, yeah, it is all over the place, this one, but how nice to be able to see clearer, how nice to be on this road. I'm really looking forward to my day. I enjoyed my bounce. I enjoy doing these vids, even if they're a bit confusing to people who are watching them and don't really get the hang of what I'm talking about. But vegan is the way. Vegan, vegan, vegan. And I'm so looking forward to really, to really appreciating that when this is over, and it could just, be my turning point. Even though I've for 14 months I've been happily living entirely on vegan food, never had any break at all. There's often been the craving there, there's often been that, people eating KFC, and seeing people walking along the streets pulling out great big lumps of you know, great big slices of cheesy pizzas and sort of ramming them down their throat. They're all dripping with cheese and that stuff. And it's stuff that we've been bought for, you know, same as anything else. You know, I really must stop this vid. Otherwise what? I don't know. Great to be with you. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for subscribing, and thank you for liking if you do, or disliking if you don't. Comments are always appreciated, you know, whatever they are, negative or positive, they are so appreciated. And I'll be back tomorrow, I hope, to do another one. And I'll just use this wonderful remote to control it off. I could turn it off. And thank you. Bye bye.